Real talk, I've been burnt out a lot in my life. Ever since I can remember, I always struggled with the concept of burnout. Like in high school, I actually tried to balance 10 APs and miserably failed because it was just way too much work. Or going through an accelerated pharmacy program. When it came to work, especially when I finished pharmacy school, I was taking a lot of the stresses from the pharmacy back home with me. And when I was at the pharmacy, just spinning my wheels because we just had so many limited resources. And now as a business owner, I need to manage my revenue, my expenses, balancing client work, setting my boundaries, and the financial stresses of a business owner as well. And this is all while trying to maintain my diet, balance my friendships, my relationships, which I've been miserably failing at. So let's be real, I haven't been the best at managing my burnout as well. And more recently, as I've been making this move to Las Vegas, I realized I was going through it pretty bad, probably the worst it's ever been. The funny thing about burnout is that it slowly creeps up on you. You don't notice until you're in it, and when you're in it, you just notice that you freaking hate everything. Honestly, I started hating doing the inbound closing I was doing for my clients. I started hating shooting YouTube videos, which was like, that never really happens. And third thing was that I didn't even want to go to my favorite activity, jujitsu. And overall, I just felt miserable altogether. And when I think about it, this all started when I started my move from LA to Las Vegas. And it was obviously a major change. I literally had to move all my physical stuff to Las Vegas. I changed my physical routines, like where my gyms are and all that, but also it affected my relationships and friendships as well. And it wasn't until, I unpacked all my stuff, set up my office, got my second COVID shot, and was lying there so freaking tired, right? I was in my bed thinking, if I have to continue what I'm doing for the next 10 years, I just want to commit seppuku. I hate feeling this way. How did it ever get this way as well? And I know it can sound a little bit morbid, but I just realized that I was so unhappy. Even after watching some subdoc videos or some old JK videos, or just like Dave Chappelle stuff or skit comedy, I cannot escape this feeling that I just don't feel fulfilled in my life right now. And so here are the things that I realized that kind of contributed to my burnout. And this was all thought up as I was lying in bed, regretting my decision for that second COVID shot because I was so freaking tired. But let's kind of dive into it. So number one, I just realized I just stopped having fun altogether, right? I was going through the same stuff over and over and over again. Same YouTube videos, same sales calls in my 300 square foot apartment in California. And honestly, that felt like a freaking prison. I cannot tell you how small that felt and how much that crushed my soul being in that small apartment. Every single day, like from the time I woke up, when I would wake up to go jujitsu, usually come to class about 10-15 minutes late. I finish at 8 o'clock, and then I would have a sales meeting at that time and go back to back until 7, 8, sometimes 9 p.m. and I would go to sleep. And that was my day. That's every single day. And I just felt like I was drowning. And then it was even like that when I first got to Vegas too. But it wasn't until earlier in the week where I took some time off to see my friends from ATL. My pharmacy friends from Georgia actually came down and visited me, and we were walking around in the Vegas casinos. We were eating really nice food, like at all the Asian joints, like Din Tai Fung, which is all right. It's not my favorite. We ate at this bomb ass noodle place. We ate at Best Friends at Roy Choi's restaurant as well. And I also took a lot of time to just relax and listen to Sir Savage the 21st and Maestro Boomin, right? And that's when I realized, when was the last time I really did things that made me happy? Not other people happy, but myself. And so what I started doing is adding more space into my life, prioritizing the stuff that I love in my life, not what other people wanted, but what I wanted. I took my Saturdays and Sundays off from all sales calls, all work as well. I specifically focused my Mondays for my YouTube videos, my Fridays, my coaching sessions. My mornings are blocked off for yoga and jujitsu, and nighttime is really spent for chopping up with my friends. Of course, the most important thing, 1 p.m. every single day, I do nap time. I know it might sound like I'm getting soft, but ever since I started incorporating these boundaries, I just feel so much happier, way happier as well. And I noticed that when I started implementing these things too, I started having more fun with my clients, fun with my calls, more fun with my YouTube videos, and I started making money all over again. Because I was actually, when I was in that funk, I was barely making anything, and it really killed me financially as well. So that's the first thing. I just wasn't freaking having fun. The second thing that I think contributed to my burnout more recently is that I stopped investing into my learning. We talk about the importance of financial investment, start early, compound interest as well, but how often do we take that in consideration for our learning? When we learn a fundamental skill that we use every single day, like speed reading or learning how to learn efficiently, those compound throughout our life. But not only are these skills like really, really important, but what I also realized is that learning keeps me really motivated at the same time. For example, when I was most motivated from this YouTube channel, I was actually taking Ali Abdal's part-time YouTube Academy, which you can check out one of my reviews here as well. It's one of the best YouTube courses out there. But when I was in it, I was at the top of my YouTube game, and I was super happy at the time. I was gaining a lot of momentum with my process and the growth of my channel. And what was really cool was that I was just meeting cool people who were doing the same things as me. But fast forward, moving to Vegas more recently, I didn't even want to, my camera was set up the way it is right now, and I didn't want to turn it on and press record. I didn't want to do my sales calls. What changed between that time? And what I realized is that I stopped investing into the new processes, learning new processes, learning new skills, refining my skills, taking a breath, taking a break to just rethink and just strategize my YouTube channel. I stopped investing that time into learning these courses. So what I recently did is I invested into some major sales training. I also invested more into Matt Diavella's course more recently too. And another thing, I'm going to be taking Ali Abdal's YouTube cohort as well. And honestly, when I started doing these things, I started wanting to experiment and try these new things into my YouTube channel as well. And going through this process helped me think of ways to creatively think. And I started asking myself questions like, how do I have more fun with my YouTube channel? How do I have more fun with my sales calls and just laugh a little bit more? And what are all the big ideas that will move the needle for my channel as well? If it wasn't for investing my money and time into new courses, or even just taking a break to just strategize, I definitely wouldn't be as happy. I definitely wouldn't be in my flow state as well. And let's dive into the third thing. Why I kind of faced burnout was I didn't have enough free blocks. When I first moved to Vegas, I started working and I was going back to back, call to call, meeting, and it was so bad that I remember I was sitting in this spot and I was like, I cannot even use the bathroom or even grab a bite to eat, which was so frustrating. And especially as I was moving, I never felt like I had enough time. I always felt like I was scrambling. I was running back and forth. Guys, when I said I was running back and forth, I was literally I went to California, drove to Vegas, dropped all my stuff in my U-Haul, drove the U-Haul back, picked up my car, drove it back to Vegas. I was going back and forth and unloading. It took a lot of time and took a lot of effort out of me as well. And so I was always packing and panicking, and I never had enough time to just stop for a second. And what I realized was that free blocks were the missing piece of my life because, they're important for this concept of flow. And if you're not familiar with the concept of flow, it's basically this positive psychology term where it's a mental state in which a person performing some activity is fully immersed in a feeling of energized focus, full involvement, and enjoyment in the process of activity as well. It's when you're having fun, you're losing track of time, and you're getting a lot done and you're doing really well. And so a lot of times these free blocks, you get your best ideas. I mean, it's one of the reasons why one of my favorite Reddit forums is shower thoughts, right? Or whenever you wash the dishes or even go out for a drive, do you ever have that really killer idea that you just need to write down? So what I realized is that it's important to have time to breathe for flow. And for me, by not having a physical place where I could just feel like I was stable, I was comfortable, and had a solid foundation, that blocked my flow. And so those were some of the things that I thought were really impactful that kind of gave me, I guess, mental constipation where I felt super, super burnt out. And the reason why this topic is so important is because by understanding why we burn out, we can actually prevent ourselves from getting burnt out there in the first place, which means less wasted time, less wasted energy thinking about how the heck do I climb out of this, right? And since this time, I've really kind of made some physical changes in my room. I have a blocked out place to meditate every single morning. I cut off all work after 4 or 5 p.m. for any high ticket sales clients. I make sure both my mornings and evenings have fun activities where I just chop it up with my friends or I choke out people during jujitsu. And it's gotten to a point where I don't even work on the weekends anymore. I just take them off, where I've kind of dialed things back and I'm not always in hustle mode, right? But instead, I'm allowing myself to have space where I have random life events happen and occur. And I also just have the space just to think and breathe and get my best ideas through that as well. So that's what I've been doing. And let's see if I can actually stay out of burnout this time, right? For once. So if you're kind of curious about the story before the burnout, why I left from California to Las Vegas, you should check out this video on why I left California. I actually, because of this video, I'm going to be in the LA Times, and I'm just waiting for that article to come out. Anyways, check out that video. And if you guys got any requested topics, let me know in the comments. But otherwise, I will see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.